Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to FTRL for F1. We are at the penultimate week for season 13. We are currently just in the waiting screen for Australia for race 1, and then we will be at Belgium for race 2. So a good couple tracks that we've got tonight. I am joined by Pagani on the 3rd birthday of FTRL, so it's a special day for us.
We are indeed. It's nice to be here. I remember all the way back to our first stream. Fell off the podium on penalties in that race. Sounds familiar.
Was that Canada, if I'm not mistaken?
It was indeed.
Yeah, you don't have a good history around Canada, do you?
I don't have a good history of racing games in general. I'm pretty bad.
Yeah, Canada's not been the easiest for you, but yeah, we've had the YouTube going for quite a while, so it's definitely nice. It's unfortunate for yourself that you dropped off the podium, but we are loading into Australia for the one-shot qualifying.
We are indeed. It's a track that is very easy to invalidate your lap. I think the word there, because I'm half asleep.
I can tell. The turn 11 and turn 12 is definitely one of those corners where you can either run wide and get yourself a corner cutting warning or track extender warning, or you can dip a tyre in the grass and you're saying hello to a barrier. So you need to measure your approach to that very carefully.
If people haven't done any practice, turn 1, it's very easy to validate on the exit.
Oh yeah. So you're trying to get as much speed through 1, sometimes you can just go that bit wide through 1, then cut a bit of 2.
But we do have a part-time returnee in T Smith, aka Tom, our reigning champion in GT.
Yes, our GT sweat is making his way to F1. So
that'll be fun. He practiced for about an hour and scared himself all the way through it. So if he survives tonight, good on him.
It'll be a nice one to remember if he survives, especially with Australia, and then it turns 11 and 12.
It does give Mikey in the racing point a teammate for once, so...
It does. So we will be in that lovely pink car of the Force India. Oh, it's the racing point now, but I'm going to call it the Force India, because it's what it is in my heart. That's what it is, but he's just invalidated this time, so I think I've cursed him already, Paul. I think I've cursed him already. Not even a minute, and I've already done it. Well, hopefully that'll leave Lee safe tonight. I won't be cursing him. But there's a little thing I'd like to point out. If there is another good night for Brutus, is Brutus in here? I don't think Brutus is in here. No, he is. Actually, he turns up late, so I think he'll be in for race 2, unfortunately. But if Brutus has a good race in race 2, he actually has a very good chance of wrapping up the constructors, wrapping up his driver's title for Div 2. So we saw a little conversation between himself and Lee earlier on, so it's looking that a good race in race 2 could see us crowning our Division 2 champion.
Because I had a quick look at the standings. Division 1 can be wrapped up today as well as can the constructors. So
definitely. So we don't have Panda with us, unfortunately, because he's found work, and unfortunately he can't do it because of that with ours. So he's drove fantastically this season. He's put up a fantastic fight with Zumpy. This just unfortunately can't have that going straight through to the final rounds. But the form that Zumpy's been on the last week or 2 has been incredible. So if we have another performance like he's had the last couple of weeks, he's definitely going to be wrapping up that constructors and the drivers title.
Well, there was one person to invalidate the lap, and it was Tom. So nice work, Tom. That hour's worth of practice was totally worth it.
So we'll just do a quick little. It's Tom. So we'll just do a quick little run through of the qualifying. So we've got Zumpy on pole position with Lennon in P2. That's definitely a good result from him. Switchback is in P3. Adam won't be happy. We've got Catmere's in P4 with Ross in 5th. We have Nexus Cat in P6. So onto the podium in 7th. Just Mike, he is in P8 with Lee Cole in 9th. Donzo rounds out the top 10. And we should be heading onto the grid in a moment. Will we start on the formation lap for Australia?
I mean, everyone's favourite battle, Goikarp and Agent Panda.
It is.
I mean, Goikarp got the upper hand just in qualifying. Can he keep it for the race? We will see.
They have got a history of having some good battles together, so hopefully they can carry that on tonight. I think that'll be fun to watch.
I mean, they've been teammates, they've been mortal enemies, they've been rivals. I think every word under the sun has come together, but I think at the end of it, they're still good mates. So,
yeah, they are. Yeah. They have a good bit of racecraft when it comes to being around each other, so I don't expect everything to go crashing and burning with them. I expect some good battling with them. So they do pretty much know the ins and outs of each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Well, I know Tom, as well as starting last, he's not used to braking for the pit entry, and on GT Sport you can go flat. So yeah, he's got to get the grips with that fairly quick, or he'll be getting a couple of stuck-go penalties tonight.
Yeah, he wouldn't be wanting that on his first outing on F1 2019, I believe it is.
I mean, I did try and tease him into using his wheel tonight, but he stayed with pad. So he's staying with something he knows.
Yeah, it's probably the best thing to do if you're going into the unknown. Stick with something that you do know.
In my head, it was a case of if you're going into the unknown, you might as well go 2 feet in and just jump in.
Clearly, Tom's got different plans for that tonight, but he has gone and put himself at the back of the grid with an unfortunate invalidation. So we have Zumpy leading the formation lap on the run into the second sector. We have Lennon in P2. He'll be looking to try and find his way through. He's been showing some good performance, but Lennon spun it on the formation lap, trying to get some heat into those tyres. We have Switchback in P3 with that Mercedes. He'll be looking to see if there's anything he can do to get his way past one or two of those lads up front. We just had Brutus joining the lobby. We have Katamise in P4. He's fantastic off the start, so he'll definitely be someone we want to keep an eye on coming off the start of the grid. We have Megatron Lechat, aka Ross. He is in P5, closely followed by Nexus Cats in Nat White and Blue Williams. We have onto the podium, aka the Bus. He's P7 in his Ferrari, who's ahead of the Force India of Just Mike. We have Lee Collin is Renault in P9 with Donzo very close behind in P10. He's backing up the rest of the grid as usual. So there's not much to do there.
Got a 5-second gap to the car in front.
So we got Goikarp in P11 and Agent Panda getting close under the formation lap condition. So Agent Panda's making himself known. We have Matt in P13 with AJ 14th and T Smith 15th, rounding out.
I think Tom's got lost on the formation lap, hence why he's so far back. But
I think he's done a Raikkonen in 2012 at Brazil. Just went on a little trip somewhere, but he'll be lining up onto the grid in a moment.
Well, every single car is starting on the soft tyre, so
they are indeed. As usual, I don't have the best camera angles because F1 hates me.
I'm going on board with Cat, see if it can make a space down to turn 1.
A good start from Zumpy and Lennon. Not the best from Cat, he hasn't really gone that far, but Matt at the back spun off at the start.
That's not. Oh! Switchback's gone wide at turn 1.
He has. Oh, Ross got very close in the safety car. And there is a yellow flag, so I don't know if someone else has turned around. One of the Ferrari onto the podium is very far back. Oh, Switchback's going around the outside of Donzo. Well, he was trying it anyway. Oh, Switchback trying to get stuck in, running a bit wide on the top of that curb. It's lucky there's no underfloor damage. It's all single file so far. Unfortunate start onto the podium and Matt lost it on the start. I don't quite know what happened onto the podium. But Katami's looking for the lunge on Lennon into turn 10. He definitely got close there. Raised the blood pressure a little bit.
How's everybody going to deal with this chicane?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Switchbacks all over the back of Donzo at this point. She's practically pushing him through 11 and 12.
Everyone survived.
They have indeed. Matt doesn't have damage, I don't think. I think he might have a bit on the front wing, front left. Onto the podium doesn't seem to have any damage, I don't believe, so I don't think he'll be pitting it. Oh, he does. Front left of the wing, he's popping into the pit lane. I'm expecting he'll be putting on mediums or hards.
Trying to do a Zumpy and he's got 1 second gap already.
Yeah, Zumpy's fantastic at getting those early race leads. So he's definitely shown that again tonight. We'll switch back. He's actually.
I was going to say, he got past Donzo in turn 1, but also Goy got through, so I don't know if there's a bit of contact as Tom tries to go around the outside of Donzo. I mean, Tom, for someone that hasn't raced this game in 6 months, you're not supposed to go around the outside of people. Right?
Sort of must have happened with Donzo because he's just dropped 3 positions in the space of 2 corners. So I'm not quite sure there, but I did notice that switchback went quite wide through turn 2, so I don't know if that was just just a general mistake, went a bit wide, if there was a little bump between the two that could have caused that little bit of a run wide for him. We've got, unfortunately, Matt's lost it, yeah.
I was going to say, Matt's come out the pit, lit the rear tyres up on the hard tyre and just spun out a pit there, unfortunately, got more wing damage and decided to retire.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, it's not the best of races for tonight, but he's always got race 2 to try and make up for that. There's always second chances.
Well, I must say that Mike, he's had a cracking start. He's up 3 places off the line.
Yeah, he's doing great so far.
Racing point up a total of 8 places in total as a team.
So we have
Tom's eyeing up Goy. Pulls out a nerve.
Yeah, he's looking for the line to see if he could get it down, but
switch back and Lee. There's a bit of contact. They put the side pod. Switch back trying the outside.
Actually makes it outside work pretty well. So switch back up into P7. We will get, let's get position changed up. So we've got T Smith up 6 positions from his starting point, so he's looking very good so far.
The thing with Tom is he's been a little bit of a girl since his comeback, so he does have his ERS and automatic.
Yeah.
So
sometimes the ERS is not optimal being automatic, so we'll see how that works out for him.
So he might be under pressure down the straight occasionally.
He might. It might not put it in overtake when he needs it to. So we'll see. With the RS,
he's had a massive slide off that curve. The chicane.
So he's lucky to be facing the right direction.
He's gone deep.
Yeah, same with 13. He's just struggling with the back, and this is
Goy sniffing. Goy sniffs an opportunity.
Oh, he does. It's something Lee's pointed out before in the chat, and obviously, when we've been talking just off camera, Lee said he struggles to find the grip with the car, but we've got Tom looking at Lee right now. So Lee's holding around the outside. Actually makes it work, but Tom, you'll have the better exit, and he's going to be around the outside for 3. This is giving Quick half a good look at the inside. Can't quite get that move done. But as I was saying, Lee's this season, I don't quite know why, but he's been having trouble keeping that rear planted. Says it feels a lot more slippery when he's trying to get his foot out, but Tom's not giving in on this overtake. He's trying to get it done as soon as he can.
Zumpy had pulled away, but Lennon's clawed it back, and he's pulled everybody else with him down to Ross in 6th.
He has indeed. We've got a bit of a train going on here from P2 to 6.
I think Goy might have had a wiggle as Donzo's got past and immediately pulled 1.5 seconds.
Right, a little bit of a mistake from Goy probably happened there.
Donzo's run very wide through the chicane, and Goy's even further wide. Goy's off the track. That far off, he's been reset. I think I saw contact with Agent Panda, so he might need to pit for damage.
Yeah, Agent Panda bumped. I can't quite see what happened. I just got on board with him, and then there's we had Goycar facing the wrong way, and then we had
Tom's into the pits.
Oh, he is indeed.
I mean,
he's been safe.
He's enabled the pit limiter at the corner, so yeah.
It's a little
he hasn't tried to GT Sport it.
No, he hasn't. So it's going to save him 5-second penalty. He's going to pop on that medium tyre. And there's a front wing coming out from the McLaren guys. That is Agent Panda popping into pit lane. He'll be putting on a set of soft tyre.
Oh, this battle for third place is close right up. Mikey had to go wide at the last corner, otherwise he was going to clatter into the back of them both, which has allowed Ross to run, but
Ross backs out
pulls
of
back
it.
up move.
Ross.
Yeah, Katami hasn't had the best couple of laps, it looks like, as he's lost ground to Lennon in front.
Well, Katami is under threat from Nexus Cats. It's a bit of a tough one trying to name both of the cats. It's tough to get them the right way around. But Cats is looking down the inside of Katami's. Well, Katami's not given much room. So definitely trying to make him fight for that position. But Donzo has got his way past Leacom around the outside into 13. It's a fairly straightforward move for Donzo.
Lennon's in the pit lane.
Yeah, so is Ross and Swishback. This looks like a turning point. We are 6 laps in on a 15 lap race.
Ross has sped in pit lane. I mean, it wouldn't be a race in F1 if Ross didn't get a penalty.
No, it wouldn't. I think Ross is trademarked for it right now.
Oh. When I was in a party chat with Mikey before this race, and he said he usually gets penalties. Well, he's just got another one for speeding in pit lane.
So Guikop has retired. That's
he's gone at the fast chicane.
Yeah, he's lost the back at 12, unfortunately. So we won't have an 8-0 battle between Agent Panda and Guikop, unfortunately, for this race. So we have Zumpy, who's still out. So we'll see what he can do. He is 3.5 seconds ahead of Nexus Cats. He hasn't pit either. So I expect Zumpy will pit in this lap. This is the most logical thing to do.
Lennon has pit. He's got 3 seconds of clear space. So can he push on and get the undercut?
It's definitely a possibility. He's going to be on a fresh set of medium tyres while Zumpy's driving around in that old soft tyre. Obviously, Lennon is in that clean air as you pointed out, so we won't have to deal with any date here or any traffic. So
Zumpy's in.
It's blown it open.
As is Nexus Cats, as is Mikey.
Well, Zumpy's got a 5-second penalty.
5-second penalty.
So we sped to the lane as well.
As is Mikey. I mean, Tom putting that pit lane limiter on very early. It looks like it's worked out for him compared to everybody else. So
currently we've got Donzo leading the way. We have Zumpy just coming out of the pits. He'll be in front of AJ, his teammate, so he is in front of Lennon. He's going to have to try and make as much of that advantage in track position that he can and get that 5-second gap, because I don't believe Lennon has any penalties. So if it stays the way it is, Zumpy could be under threat of losing this race win due to a penalty.
Well, we saw Tom battling Lee. Well, Lee is now 6 seconds behind Tom with onto the podium, trying to go around the outside into turn 3.
Lee's going to hold the inside line, or onto the podium. He's got that grip, manages to find a way around the outside of 3. It's a fairly straightforward move onto the podium.
Well, Lennon's got past AJ. AJ made it very easy for him, as he's on the alternate strategy at the moment.
With Lennon just putting another car in between himself and Nexus Cats, and that bit of a train behind him. So he's definitely trying to clear that pack and make his way up to Zumpy. It's 2.3 seconds separating the two.
It just went on board with Nexus Cats through the chicane. He had to apply opposite lock.
Yeah, it's a common thing around that corner, isn't it?
I know. But with that speed, it's... Oh, Nexus Cats is down the inside of AJ.
AJ's run wide, and that's allowed Katami's around the outside, but AJ's popping into the pits.
Yeah, Donzo is also in. Where will he come on? He's out. He's doing the overcut.
She is on the medium tyre, as you'd expect. So we'll see where he comes out. So I was just going to say, I know the pain of turn 12 because I've dropped it from a lead in a 100% race, so it's definitely a corner you've got to measure as much as you can, especially for that Zumpy.
Back in the pits.
We'll have a look, is that damage? Yeah, he's changing the front wing.
He's got damage, and he sped into the pit lane, and Lee's also in, so I'm wondering if there's been some contact between them. What's happened to Lennon? Lennon's round.
He is.
Into the first sector.
Okay, so he hasn't lost a tyre, but he has lost half of his front wing. So he is going to have to pop into the pits, and that's cleared Zumpy. out of a situation where he's got to deal with Lennon, because Lennon was only a couple of seconds behind. But he's
Well,
got
I
Nexus
think
Cats with 4.1.
unfortunately during that I saw Mikey pick up a 3-second penalty. I mean, he's still running P4, but
He's still looking good, but Ross behind does have a 5-second penalty for the drive through as well. So the pressure on Mike won't be as high. Obviously, it will be there because you've got a driver behind you trying to get through while you're fighting for P4. But that fact that that Ross has got a higher penalty than himself should take a little bit of pressure off. And I think that Jeff, his race engineer, would have let him know. But Catamese is right in the back of Cats.
Just let Donzo through, obviously with that wing damage, just trying to make his way back a bit lane.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks. But Catamese is looking straight to the inside of Cats.
Credit to Donzo, he didn't send it, he waited to see if he did have damage, so credit to Donzo for that.
Yeah, got a little bit of racecraft from Donzo. Not jumping on something, nice and thought through.
Well, onto the podium and Lee are side by side, and it looked to be quite a heated exchange.
We'll pop on board with these two. We are popping up to the DRS straight on the run down to 1. So we'll see if Lee tries anything down the inside of onto the podium.
I think he's too far back, but Lennon's come out right behind this pair.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Lennon. It's compounding the problem that he's got so far. He's stuck behind two drivers that are in the midst of a battle. Thought you were sneezing then.
Oh, I accidentally poked my mic, I do apologise.
Anyways. I thought that was a weird sounding sneeze there, Paul. But Catamese is dropped back half a second from Nexus Cat. It was very close around the midpoint of last lap.
There's some, let's say, alternative lines through the last corner from Catamese and Nexus Cats.
Yeah, trying a different line. So obviously you don't want to be in that dirty here. Can make the grip around the corner not be as good. But it is starting to get close between them. Catamese 3/10 behind Cats.
But we've got Pete in the chat saying happy 3rd birthday to FTRL.
I'm not surprised Pete's popped in. Pete's showing some love like he always does.
For anybody in the chat, if you want to put your favourite FTRL memories that either you've been in or you've seen through commentary, please let us know and we'll try to read some of them out in the quiet periods during the race.
Well, since you've asked the question, Paul, I think I might ask you that question as well.
I've got so many, I mean it's difficult to narrow them down. I mean Lennon's back in because he's broke his wing.
Of course, he's got a bit of damage again. It's not the best of races for Lennon, unfortunately. I think he'll be a bit frustrated with this one.
Oh, I think Agent Panda's had a wiggle. He's lost half of his front wing.
Oh, Ross has gone wide. That's allowed Switchback to get through in the second to final corner. So a mistake there from Ross. A Sebastian Vettel-esque mistake from 2016. Just running a little wide at the second to last corner. Dropped him a position. We'll have a quick peek through the grid. The fight between Catamese and Nexus Cat still raging on as ever. Catamese trying to figure out some way through. The Nexus Cat's managing to hold his own. And the battle in between these two, as I just like to point out, has actually led some Pete just about get to the cusp of that 5-second gap. And we do know that he has a 5-second penalty, and he does actually have 68% ERS, so he is looking in a good shape to put the hammer down if need be.
He is indeed,
So
and Switchback is now right in the back of Mikey now. After he's got past Ross.
Yeah, Switchback's got past Ross.
Picked up a penalty.
Yeah, he has. No, Switchback will be
has also picked up a penalty.
As I was saying, he'd be looking to try and find a way past Mike, but he's going to have to deal with that penalty as well. He's getting very close to Mike, and I just saw a bit of debris of a wing on the outside of turn 14 that Mike drove over, so I'm not quite sure what that was from. I don't know if it was an old bit of debris or if it was brand new, so there'll be a little something to look for.
I know Lennon lost the front wing not that long ago, so
There's a possibility. Not quite sure what it was from. It's a little interesting one. So Zumpy, 6.3 seconds. Well, 6.4, he's definitely sticking his foot down. So he's got a 30-bit gap.
Mikey's picked up another penalty. He's under pressure at the moment.
Yeah. Switchback managing to put that pressure on, but he's lost it at 6.
Switchback's bottled it once again.
It was so close to taking, I think that was Ross. Oh, so close to taking him out there. It's unfortunate for Switchback.
I think Switchback should go into mass producing bottles. Like, he'd be rich.
I think he'd definitely
be span out from the lead in Germany.
He'd definitely be good for Coca-Cola. Manufacture a bunch of bottles for them. Unfortunate for Switchback. Just as I said, he was putting the pressure on. I ended up jinxing him, as I usually do. I have to get somebody, unfortunately.
Switchback just trying that a little bit too hard.
Well, Mike's all over the back of Katamis so far. Katamis has dropped back a couple seconds.
Katamis had a wiggle then, because there was a 2-second gap.
Yes. Mike is closing up. But I don't know if, because it might have been a mistake from Katamis, so I don't know if Mike will be able to keep up with the pace once Katamis picks it up. Well, we'll see. Mike will definitely be trying to stick his nose in for the P3. We have got 3 laps to go, including lap 13. Well, Zumpy edging out that gap, 7.5.
All I'm going to say is, what would have happened if Mikey had a teammate all season? Because the times he's had a teammate, he's been up near the top 5. The races he hasn't had a teammate, he's been involved in other people's accidents.
It's looking like a teammate's been a bit of a blessing for him, but he's definitely showing some good pace in this first race, so obviously with that trend of him having a teammate and then performing well, if he did have a teammate for the entirety of the season, we could be looking at actually a different situation in the Drivers' Championship.
Well, I mean, Mikey was a lot safer through the chicane, obviously with those 2-3 second penalties he's picked up. But he's still on the back of Cat.
Yes, Katamis isn't really pushing away. Obviously, he actually is. He's dropping further back to Nexus Cats. He's dropped back a further 8/10 this lap. So I think I'll check, see if there's... Oh, he's got front left wing damage. That's why. He's got damage to the front wing. So I think that might have been what Mike drove over earlier. It was the end play for Katamis. So I don't quite know what's happened to him there, whether he tagged the back of Nexus Cats. So this is definitely causing a little bit of a train. We have Mike and Ross very close behind each other there, actually having their own battle into turn 3. Ross trying the inside, Mike going very deep.
Obviously Mike went to defend from Ross, but missed the break a little bit, now the side by side.
Well, he's managed to keep it. Then you've got Agent Panda there, ghosted. So it's causing a little bit of a distraction for Ross and Mike. But Mike's just about managed to defend his P4. So be happy to still be where he was a couple corners ago.
I mean, these 3 boys battling has allowed Tom to catch up. I mean, it was 7 seconds, it's now 5. I mean, there's only 2 laps to go, but you never know.
Yeah, with the tyres, definitely they are starting to get fairly old. They've been on for 7 to 8 laps. For Tom, it's 9 laps actually. So there is that chance that someone might lose it. We know Ross has a penalty. He has a 5-second penalty at least. I don't know if he's gained another few seconds. So
I was going to say, Mikey's got at least 2-3 second penalties, so that's 6. So at this rate, Tom might get the top 4.
Tom is looking at a decent spot so far. If he can close that gap up a little more, just to be certain, which it looks like he is doing. There is some battling going on as we are on the final lap of the race.
Mikey's trying his best to close back into Cat. Gap's out to 3/10.
And he's definitely going to have a lot more of an advantage in the corners. Katamis does have that front wing damage. You can just see how much Mike's gaining under the brakes. So it is definitely getting close. Ross will be looking to try and find another opportunity to make P4. You are going to have to remember the fact that Tom's 4.5 seconds behind, and they do have penalties. So I'm going to have to take that into consideration.
Which I think Mikey, Ross and Tom are all in the same party chat, so I dare say Ross will be telling Mickey to hurry up so Tom doesn't jump them on his penalties.
Probably will be. But this could actually be a saving grace for Academies, because if, I don't know, if, to say, Mike somehow overtakes Academies, they still have that penalty, they'd get knocked back by Tom. So Academies is actually still looking to be in P3.
Zumpy's coming around the final corner to win, what is his third race in a row?
Yeah, it is his third race in a row. He won both last week. He got the Grand Slam, and he's carrying that on into this week. He took pole, and he also took the race win for the first race. So good job from him.
Holds on for P2.
Yeah.
Cameron's got front wing damage. Goes third.
Let's see, Tom's P4.
Tom's jumped the battling pair in front.
He's jumped both Ross and Mike. I merged both of their names together. I don't know how I managed to do that. We have Donzo round in the final corner to claim P7. A tough race for a couple guys tonight. So onto the podium and Switchback. They've not had the best of luck, unfortunately. Switchback losing the rear at what I believe is turn 5. And then
the podium was doing his best to try and chase down AJ.
There's not much he could do. He was within the slipstream, but couldn't quite get the move done, unfortunately.
And then you've got Lennon is chasing down Lee, but I think Lennon's picked up a few 3-second penalties his last couple of laps.
So he won't be able to get away past Lee. I don't think Lee has any penalties. I don't think I saw him pick any up. So Lee's set to be P11 with Lennon in P12. An unfortunate race for a couple of the lads. So they'll be, obviously with the reverse grid, it'll be pushing them further up the grid for the next race. So they'll be looking to try and have a bit of a better performance, maximise the bit of an advantage that they've got, and try and hold position as much as they can in the second race, as we actually will be going on to Belgium.
Well, not to forget, we do have Brutus who will be starting from the front row.
He will. Unfortunately, couldn't be in race 1, but he will be in race 2. So
yeah, I think there'll be a few guys ruin mistakes and incidents in that race. Just a lot of stop goal penalties. Wait, what would be a stop goal penalty in a full race? It's a 5 second, isn't it, for speeding in pit lane?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the pit lane at Australia a bit slower than normal? I think it's around 37 miles an hour. If I'm not wrong. I think it might be.
I'm not sure, because I haven't played F1 properly in 3 months.
Same with me, I don't quite know myself. But I think it is a bit of a slower one around here, so I wouldn't be surprised if that did catch a couple of people out. So they'll have to be careful of that at Belgium as well, as I believe the pit lane's the same speed limit. Obviously, Spa is definitely one of those tracks. It's an iconic track in general, and it has thrown up some fantastic races in FTRL, so let's be hoping that the second race could live up to that.
It has indeed. I mean, with Spa, you can never really tell what weather you're going to get.
No, you can't. It could be all nice and sunny, the birds are out and chirping, the grass is blooming, and then you can have another race where you're in the middle of a tornado and it's full wet, and you're clipping the inside curb of Blanchimon and throwing it into the barrier.
Yeah,
so it could be one of the extremes.
We know someone that did that.
Do we?
Yeah.
I don't quite know who you're on about there, mate.
I remember you doing it, trying to chase me down for a win.
But yeah, my defence, you had medium traction, I had no traction. I've been using the amount of time since that happened to come up with some excuses, and I don't really have many of them.
I mean, I'll take the race win while you crash, that'll do me.
Yeah. It still hurts to think about that one. But I made up for it a couple of seasons later.
But my only race win actually in the divisions was at Spa, so yeah.
It's one of those tracks for you that you hold close to you in a way. It was your first race.
It was also I've been involved in some massive accidents at Spa as well in FTRL, so
I wouldn't be surprised if Old Rouge had the part to play in.
But we had one where it was basically F198 all over again, coming out of turn 1. We
So
got
someone
involved in that one.
recreating Coulthard. Definitely a Coulthard fan in that one then.
There was the famous one that Blue Flag, aka Side, just managed to get through. I got through that one, so yeah.
He hasn't always had the best of luck, Blue Flag, so that's one of the times where luck was on his side.
No, I mean Aaron's just tuned in. Who won race 1? It was Zumpy.
Yeah. Just the usual Aaron, Zumpy, but we did have a good battle with I believe it was Catamese, Mike and Ross, but Tom did manage to jump them on penalties. So good first race, and Aaron, you'll be happy for me pointing this out, but Switchback lost to the turn 5. So I think Aaron will be pulling out the party poppers.
He did bottle it by himself once again, unfortunately.
I think Aaron's running downstairs with a bottle of champagne and some party poppers right now. So he'll be back in a couple of minutes.
I mean, Lennon's trying to claim that he crashed on purpose to start near the front. You're not fooling anyone, Lennon.
Should have used this incident as an excuse.
But yeah, I mean, now that we've got Aaron in the chat, I mean, he probably will be here, but floating around in the background. But if you are here, Aaron, 3 years of FTRL, what's your either best moment you've witnessed or you've been part of? Yeah. I mean, if I ask the league owner, then I'll get 7 things to talk about.
Yeah, especially with Aaron. You ask him a closed-end question, he gives you an open-ended answer.
Right.
So everyone
he knows what he's doing. So.
Yeah. Everybody ready and up. Brutus will be in race 2, so he'll be on the front row of the grid. And he is leading the Div 2 championship.
What are these conditions going to be?
Honestly,
question.
I'm hoping for some rain.
I mean, I'm hoping for some rain just so I can remind you of Blanchimont every time the car goes through it.
Yeah. Although, let's point this out, because I think it's a good full circle. I crashed out at Blanchimont season 8, and then season 10, the first one on 2019, I believe it was, I got a podium around here in full wets. And the only reason that was is because someone lost at the Blanchimont. So I think that was my karma coming back towards me. So it F1 has its weird little ways.
I mean, you did ask me about my best moment in 3 years of FTRL.
It took 20 minutes to answer it, Paul.
Yeah.
Give me an answer.
I mean, it's probably got to be that performance championship. It was just raw emotion. I was shit. So to win something, it was quite surprising.
Alright, well, Paul, now you said that we were 20 minutes out from the watershed.
I mean, that's fine.
Oh, well, we've got a dry race.
Botlocks. No, I said that from the watershed as well. Nah, I mean, sparring the dry isn't exactly easy. I mean, there's some cars bouncing about on the grid, they're obviously excited to get going.
You're trying to get a bit of temperature into those tyres by bouncing around. But I must say, my favourite memory from FTRL was actually from the Performance Championship itself. It was with the race in China. I was in the Ferrari on F1 2017, and obviously because it was a performance one, you had actual performance of the cars. And because I was on a Ferrari, I had the best aero. I spent pretty much the entirety of that race. After me and Bot winning, I ended up down at the back of the grid. And it was one of those points where I was overtaking people around that fast right hand in the middle sector, do you know what I mean, just before that double left.
Yeah.
And then no matter how much grip you have, it's very, very tough, and to be able to have that amount of racing and to be able to try and pull off moves like that is definitely one of the most fun races I've had, just in league racing in general, over the past 3 or so years.
Well, Lennon's been Lennon and forgot to load a setup, so he's going to have some fun.
Unfortunately for Lennon, he's going to have to deal with normal 6.6 wings on a predominantly power circuit. So,
I mean, to be fair, it might not be the worst circuit for it to happen. It's got its long straight sections, but it's also got a tight and twisty section through the middle, so...
It could actually work out very well for him, I believe, P1. because he's going to have a lot more downforce, so he'll be able to attack it more than other drivers will. So I think that'll be a good little thing where he can try and close the gaps down that bit more in sector 2. So I think that would be interesting. But we currently have Matt in first, we have Brutus at the back. So there'll be Guicarp in P2, with Agent Panda in P3, Lennon in 4th after an unfortunate race in race 1. We'll have Lee-Col in P5, with Switchback in 6th. Onto the podium in 7th, mirroring his first starting position of tonight. We have AJ in P8, with Donzo in P9. We have Mike rounding out P10. We have Ross in P11 with T Smith 12th, Casimir's 13th with Nexus Cats in 14th. They both had their own battle in race 1, so hopefully that'll be able to translate into turn 2. The guy who's probably won the championship by now, Zumpy, is in P15 with Brutus in P16, who wasn't with us in the first race, but he'll be with us in the second race.
Well, he's doing his best to back up the grid again from P5 this time, so...
Not much new with Lee. Lee backing up the grid. I think it's a trademark with Lee now.
But we've got two guys on the medium tyres and they're both finishing, Catamese and Zumpy, so...
It is indeed.
Everyone else is on the soft tyre.
Both going for the alternate strategy. Actually surprised Lennon wasn't going for the alternate strategy, because he has tried that a few times. Tried it, I believe it was 2 weeks ago with Germany. Actually worked out fairly well for him.
I mean, I think if Lennon forgot to load the setup, I think he even more forgot to do anything with the tyres.
Yeah, so. More than likely, yeah, that's a good point. We're all lining up on the grid.
It is a very short run to turn 1, so...
Turn 1 does
no
have
silly moves.
Turn 1 does have a history. So hopefully there's no Grosjeans or Hulkenbergs in this grid, and I've just definitely annoyed Connor with that. The 5 red lights are out and we are going. It's definitely a good start from Guicarp and Lennon. They've both got their way past Matt. We've got Lee on the inside, there's front wing damage. We haven't got the best view of it. We have Tom running very wide out of turn 1.
How's Rouge going to go that first lap?
We got Lee
switch back at the...
Oh, that's Connor
the
gone.
Podium's gone. AJ's also gone, unfortunately.
Lennon right on the back of Switchback, trying to figure out some way to get through. He's tucked back in. Switchback's going around the outside, and Matt has tried it. The Switchback late on
Nexus
the
Cat has gone round at the end of the Kennel Straight. There was contact, I'm not entirely sure who with.
Oh, it's definitely a good job from the Switchback to avoid making contact with the back of Matt.
Guy's gone as well, unfortunately.
Switchback nearly gave me a heart attack, I must say. Got on the brakes far too late for the Lee-Com. Pretty much had to jump up on the curb to get around him.
Ross and Agent Panda both very wide at P1.
Yeah, indeed.
Agent Panda going wide has allowed Mikey to get down inside. Oh, there's contact! Agent Panda's drifting, he's held it.
Yeah, he's managed to keep the car facing the right way. But this is looking...
Lennon's backwards.
Agent Pan's on the inside of Tom, we can't quite get it done. That's allowing Brutus to be there. There's more damage for Zumpy. Zumpy's got front wing damage for hitting the back of Agent Panda.
Oh. Well, that's going to ruin that alternate strategy he's on.
Yeah. Oh my god. Matt missed the brakes and they took Lee out into the bus stop chicane. So Lee definitely counting as lucky stars for that one. I think his life flashed before his eyes. Kind of reminds me of Cat Music Canada.
Zumpy staying out. Well, that's what we're damage.
It's pretty much all kicked off in the first lap. We've got Brutus popping into pit lane. We have Agent Panda coming in.
Oh, so Matt's gone up. Ready on.
So let's see. It's a yellow flag. We don't have the safety car on, so we won't be having a safety car tonight. We've got Lee, who's quite close to Switchback. Switchback's managed to make his way up into P1. Yes, everything's going on right now. It's hard to keep up with. Oh, but that Zumpy's gone.
Oh,
A couple
that.
corners before no name. Zumpy's lost the rear end.
Actually, that's a weird place to lose the car. Oh,
Just
Agent
well,
Panda's gone. Ready on again, so he's got no front wing again, unfortunately.
I
He
think
has
you
also
jinxed
retired
half the
from the
grid, Paul.
session.
I think you jinxed half the grid, which I did say it's a very difficult track in dry conditions. Imagine if this was full wet. So we've
Well,
got Ross on the back of Lee, and Ross went a little bit wide.
while it's calmed down a little bit, we've got City Porsche asking us as comments who's surprised us the most this season.
That's a difficult one.
Um, I mean, I would say Lee, but I don't think he's finished 2 races in a row.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough one for Lee, unfortunately.
Um,
For me, I would say it's been Zumpy. I just didn't expect the level of dominance that he's had. He's been driving fantastically. He's put in some amazing results. Quite frankly, I didn't really see it coming. So he's definitely surprised me the most. But Ross is all over the back of Lee on the run up to Radion and Eau Rouge.
he is, but he's
Johnson
got.
running wide.
Oh,
Both Force Indians are
oh.
through.
Unfortunately, Matt has crashed coming into the pit lane,
Oh, it's
and that has
unfortunate.
caused his retirement.
It's not the easiest of pit lanes, I will give him that. I've done that a few times on Korean mode myself. But it's starting to kick
Ross.
off now behind Lee and Ross. Oh, that's
Okay,
Tom gone!
Ross has
Oh,
got past
actually,
his
that's
teammate.
yeah, Tom
Tom's
almost
held
lost.
it just.
I was going to say, he almost lost it where Zumpy did, so a good job from Tom to keep that facing north. So a good job from Tom there to keep it facing the right way. I think that was it.
Most improved is going to be. Oh, Maggie's a little bit wide through P1.
It's opening the door for Tom.
I mean, Mikey obviously won the race last season, but like, I think he's pushed on to another level. Like in the races, he's had a clean race this season. He's done very well.
So he's definitely shown it now. He's managed to survive the carnage of the first couple of laps. He's kept it all nice and clean. He's got a full front wing and he's looking in a good spot to try and find a way past Leakhall in any minute now. So I actually will have to back you up there. Mike has definitely been doing fantastic throughout the season. Started off not at the best, but he's managed to work his way up. He's been showing some consistency in results and also in driving. So I will have to agree with you
and
with
Donzo
Mike.
just went side by side through Blanchimont.
Trying to create a Verstappen and Ericsson moment from 2016.
But I must say, Nexus Cat, the second half of the season, he's been sort of third or fourth on pace most races. So he's another contender. And Brutus has led the way by quite some margin in the Div 2 Championship. So
We've got Mike pressure on Lee through Eau Rouge. I thought it was going to be a bit of contact then.
look, Tom's coming to the pits early, trying to get the undercut.
Tyre bumping with Mike and Lee. Mike trying it around the outside on Kemo Street. That's going to give him the inside of Laycom.
Katamies came along. I think Katamies has wing damage. He does.
He does from that. So that's allowed Mike up into P3. So Lee Cole has dropped down 2 positions from last lap. He went from P3 to P5. That's allowed Katamies with the front wing damage to get through. So I believe Lee should be able to find a way past if he does not damage himself. But Mike is definitely looking good so far. Let's have a look, see how many positions he's gained.
Oh, Lee's gone round the P1. I mean,
So,
you did literally just mention him.
yeah. Oh, Lee's not going to be happy with me, is he?
Like, you've done it in half the races this season now.
Yeah. I don't do it on purpose. Now, I know you're going to think I am, but I'm really not doing it on purpose. I think it's just down to Lee being incompetent.
Well, in the meantime, Nexus Cats and Katamies are fighting again. They fought each other last race, but Katamies is closing up on the back on Mike through Blanchimont.
It is indeed. I just like to point out that Ross, Katamies and Capit is coming into the pits. So say they've all gained 9 positions off the start, and Mike has gained 7 spots. So it's definitely showing that they're having a good race for themselves. They managed to gain a fair few positions, but Brutus has lost it on the back
Brutus
straight.
has had a spin.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. The spin was quite far down on the street, so I don't really know. It's a bit of a tough one. So,
Well,
actually not sure.
Tom's going to jump Academy's in pit lane with that front wing change.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so that's going to be Katamis in P7, Lee Cole's going to be in P8. Actually, does that leave much of a threat from Brutus? I don't think it will. I think this is past the detection zone, so I don't think Brutus will have DRS on Lee. But no, he's 1.2 seconds back.
Oh, Lee and that banana looked very sketchy through Eau Rouge.
He's been having trouble with the rear end of that Renault this season, so it's definitely... It's tough for Lee. He's having a bit of trouble with the back of the car. He says he can't really feel... He says it doesn't feel planted for him as it did the previous season. So hopefully next season will be better.
Trying to get close to making P3.
He's making his inroads, so he is going to be in a fight for a podium position. Nexus Cat started P14 and now he's 4th, so he has gained a fair few positions. He's gained 10 places from the start. And we've got 7 people who stopped. Or 6.
Where Tom shows himself out with 26 seconds behind switchback. However, he's only 20 seconds behind his teammate.
Right, so we've got Mike and Cat's pitting in.
And Ross.
Yeah, and Ross as well. You've got switchback still out. He's just on the run down to Eau Rouge so far. We've got a nice on board camo with switchback there on the run through up Eau Rouge and Radion. So let's see, we've got Cat pulling into that Williams box. He's going to come out 4th as usual, so no one's swapped in the pits.
Yeah, well, Tom is at the source hairpin, is going to be right in the back of these boys.
Yeah, he is indeed. Actually, it's going to be close between himself and Cat. He's not going to go for a move. Tom thinking the better of it. He's going to follow through up the top of Radion. He's going to have the outside on the Camel Street. So I expect a little bit of argy-bargy between the two. Yeah. Cat's trying to get the elbows out a little bit. That is Tom through into P4.
Well, Brutus is trying to get past Lee in the same spot. Bit more wheel banging. Oh, Brutus responds. He didn't like that.
So that's Brutus up into wave. I don't quite know what happened there. Sort of argy-bargy between a couple of guys up on Camel Street. Well, Lee Hall running a little bit wide. Lennon is not far off Zumpy. Only 7/10, and they are on both different tyres. Zumpy is looking to go to the end of the race on that hard compound. I'd expect Lennon to try the same on that medium, but I think the tyres will be very worn, so he might have to pop into the pits again.
Well, Zach is in pit lane from the lead of the race, but he has sped into pit lane.
He has indeed. Switchback's got a 5-second penalty. We have Ross in P2. He's 21 seconds behind Switchback so far.
Yes, Switchback is on his way, so I'd anticipate Switchback to keep hold of the race lead.
Well, let's see. Let's not go holding that front, but I think, yeah, Switchback is going to be out in front with a fairly marginal gap. It's about 5.5 seconds.
Well, Catamaze has closed a second and a half on the train in front. We've got a 3-car train, and next that's Tom and Mikey in front.
Yeah, so I say, Nexus Cats will be closing up on T Smith down the Camel Street. I think Catamaze is definitely closing up as well, so he'll be looking to try and get in on this battle. It is a battle for P3. Catamaze trying the dummy on Tom.
Gets the move done.
Good move from Nexus Cats there, nice and clean. Looked like he was giving T Smith the dummy.
Also, Tom seemed quite slow going through Eau Rouge. He was about 7 miles an hour down on Nexus Cats, but both of them had DRS at the straight. So
I think that's more than likely down to there being a lift.
Or it might be down to his DRS being in automatic.
That's a good point, yeah, it probably might be down to that. Is this the first time Tom's playing F1 2019, like league racing this season? Or no, not this season, sorry, this game.
He did it right at the start of the game, but he hasn't played it properly in about 4 or 5 months. So
he's definitely doing a good job having not played it for 4 or 5 months. So he's coming the MP5, he's got Katami's bearing down on him, only He's 1.2 seconds behind now. Just gained a couple of tenths the last 3 corners.
I say it was 2.5 at the start of this lap, so Catamese is coming.
He is indeed. Lennon and Zumpy are still close with each other. Lennon hasn't made much of an inroads on Zumpy, but I expect these straights will help Lennon close up, obviously with the slipstream, and the fact that these are some very long straights. So it does open up the opportunity for a fairly big slipstream. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a battle between these two sometime soon. We'll go back on board with this fight at the top 3. Catamese he's within DRS of Tom.
Because in Nexus Cats has pulled away, he pulled onto the back of Mikey now.
The Cats, yeah, he's right on the back of Mike. He's got that DRS. Mike's holding the middle of the circuit. So Cats is going to go around the outside through Lake Com. Let's see if he can hold it.
Pulls it up nicely for the apex.
Yeah, I was going to say. Managed to get the apex last. He set the fastest first sector as well. So a good job there from Nexus Cats. He's up into P3. But T. Smith and Catamese.
Well, the last time Tom was in the F1 league, these two had a bit of history. So I'm hoping it doesn't come to blows and it's a nice clean battle.
This might be another page in the long history of Catamese getting involved in battles.
Well, Lennon's picked up a 3-second time penalty trying to close it with Zumpy.
It is half a second, so if he wants to get this P10 off Zumpy, he's going to get through and then gain another 3 seconds.
Oh, Mikey running a little bit wide through that second sector and allowed Nexus Cats to try and bridge that second. It's 9/10, wait, 1 second exactly. So can Mikey close up in this last bus stop chicane? Try and get in the DRS range.
It's definitely a good showing of pace from Cats so far. He's run up 11 positions from the start, and it looks like he could be holding down a fairly decent podium position, but Cats has just gained 2 tenths through the bus stop chicane, so he's looking fairly decent, and he's not far off Ross, who is currently in P2.
Ross just hit the fastest last sector, so I think he's trying to build a bit more of a gap to Nexus Cats while he can.
He's definitely going to be using a bit of that energy, popping it up into overtake to kind of stop him from closing that gap down a bit.
Catamese on Tom, it should be a clean pass on the straight in theory with DRS.
It should be, but these two, as you mentioned, they do have a bit of a history. So you could see Tom having a second pop of the cherry. I don't think so. Catamese has got through fairly easily. That's Catamese into P5, Tom in P6. Brutus is getting close to Donzo. He's not quite in DRS, but he's 4 tenths behind on the run down to Lecon.
I mean, considering Brutus had to pit.
Zumpy's on the inside of Lee. Oh, that was close. Zumpy went for a little bit of a last minute
still there.
Inside. He is indeed.
And Lennon's looking at this thing and how can I get involved?
Lennon's trying to figure out some way to get in.
He's trying to hold it around the outside. Like, balls his defence, but ultimately for nothing, and Zumpy makes the move stick.
Yeah, brilliant battle between Zumpy and Lee there, not even the slightest bit of contact. And they were side by side for like 4 corners, so definitely a great job at battling from those two. So we have Lennon right on the back of Lee Cole trying to figure out his way to get through. But we're going to have to move further up the grid. We've got a bit of a battle going on here.
I was going to say, Tom's automatic ERS he's got none left whatsoever.
Well, he's right on the inside. So was Catamese. It's like rewinding the bus stop.
Cat pulled up very late to try and defend from Tom and go for the move. Oh!
Well, Lennon's gone.
Lennon's retired.
Oh, I know, but he's hit it. I know. You know, the left hand's out
clipped
the
the
street.
grass on a brakes full of sauce.
Oh, that's Catamese's contact with him. He's lost the back. This is opening up all sorts of opportunities so far. Tom's close behind his teammate, but Catamese is also right on the side of Tom.
Tom's ERS is in 1.
Oh, there's contact between the two!
Contact in a straight line!
Catamese and Tom are complete. Yeah, that's Tom gone. The Catamese has got heavy front wing damage.
I mean, that's just silly. I mean, I want to say it now, that's just a silly piece of driving. I'm not sure who we could blame. No doubt I'll be in the steward's office tonight.
Yeah.
But cars should not make contact in a straight line. Plain and simple, straight line.
not much you can say about that one. It's yeah. I think Lee's
Oh,
lost the back end.
Ross has gone.
That's Ross.
P1.
That's Mike up into P3.
Go on, Mike. Sorry, Ross. I didn't mean it.
Hey, you're a commentator, Paul. You're meant to be impartial. What are you doing?
Does Katami's pit? I mean, he's got 8 seconds to his teammate, and there's only 1 lap to go at the end of this one. So
it doesn't make sense for him to pit in because it'll just be counterintuitive. He's going to lose a hell of a lot more time. So the best bet for him is just to keep it out on the road, deal with the damage, and go to the end.
Switchback starts that final lap in first place.
He does indeed. He's running with a 7.2 second penalty. So here's hoping that he can take his first race win of the season. He's definitely showing a great drive so far.
After a solid opening drive, made it 12 places in this race. He's in P2, so
Switchback was making a little bit of a correction to the steering through over, so I think would have had a little bit of a panic there. I wouldn't be surprised to see. Yeah, good job from the Switchback there.
Ross will be kicking himself after that mistake at P1.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Ross. Just a lap and a half to go, and that little mistake's allowed Mike to come through and take P3. We've only got 9 drivers left running into the second race.
Katami's did not pit, but that gap is halved to his teammate.
Yeah, Brutus is definitely closing up on Katami's. Actually, it could be a late lap battle between Brutus and Katami's, both trying to figure out their way to get through. But I believe the way it is now, that Brutus will be taking the Div 2 championship.
I'm not going to try and do maths. I'll confirm it next week.
Yeah, we'll confirm it next week, but I do believe that Brutus is going to take the Div 2 championship if he stays.
Well, Brutus is right in the back of Katami's now.
Yeah, he's so close. He's gonna. It's just that he's gonna get him.
I mean, Katami's isn't letting him through.
He's all over the back of him on the straight. Switchback to the 5-second penalty as he crosses the line.
He's got that in the pits when he pitted earlier.
Oh, okay. So there's Nexus
Cats.
Cats.
On from Nexus Cats.
Right, just Mike in P3. He'll be very happy with that third. Ross, unfortunately,
he's had 2 fantastic races tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, he's done brilliant, Mike, tonight. Brutus has got past Katami's. He is P5. Katami's P6. I don't know if penalties will have anything to play. Zumpi has jumped Katami's, and Lee Cole will finish P9 as he just comes through the bus stop chicane.
Well, I think our battle for the constructors was between Alfa Romeo and Renault. Well, they are, I think, the only team to have both cars finish the race tonight, so...
It's an interesting one with them too, I think. Once we've saw the last done with the the Drivers' Championships and the Constructors' Championships, we should have a fairly concrete answer to see if that is or not wrapped up.
Well, Mike's straight in the chat, he's very happy with that. To be fair, it's nice to see, because Mike's had some bad luck this season, so it's nice to see him do well.
Yeah, he's done fantastic tonight, so you should definitely be happy with that.
I think it's those pink booties at his racing point. I just saw them on the podium.
Yeah. So a pretty eventful race tonight. Quite a lot happened in the second race. We got Switchback taking his first race win this season. So a fantastic job from him there. We have Nexus Cats in P2. He's gained 12 positions tonight. We have just Mike third. Be very happy with that. He's gained 7 positions. Unfortunately, Ross will be kicking himself through away a podium at the late stages of the race. He's in P4. We have Brutus in P5, overtaking his teammate into the bus stop chicane on the final lap. Zumpy in P6. Unfortunate race, they get a bit of front wing damage. Katami is in 7th with his bizarre incident with T. Smith. Donzo in 8th, and Lee Cole unfortunately rounding out the grid. He is P9.
But he did finish.
He did finish after I jinxed him. So
yeah.
It wasn't that bad of a jinx. Yeah, unfortunate for Lee tonight. It's been a bit of a tough one for him. There was always next week. So I've got the final 2 races next week. On Wednesday, that will be Monaco and Baku. So I think for anyone to come out of both of those races without wing damage in both of the races, well, definitely deserve to have a beer.
Yeah,
So
one of my last
troubles.
races in F1 was Baku, and it didn't go to plan. I think I had 2 wing changes. So yeah.
So interesting couple of races tonight. There's definitely a bizarre moment at the end. So we'll go through the races that we've got throughout the week. So let's go through the GT Sport. We'll have GT2 tomorrow. That will be Thursdays at 8 o'clock. And we will have the lads driving around. Let's see. Last week they had their wet races, I believe.
I was going to say it'll be Lago Maggiore West for Group 4 and Le Mans in Group 3.
It is indeed. Rounds 10 and 11. 10 and 11 will be Lago Maggiore with the West layout and Le Mans for race 2. So definitely an interesting variation of tracks for the GT2 lads tomorrow. On Friday we will have the GT1 lads doing their race as well, and they will be going around.
We have a little wet week.
We do.
So we have Spa Group 4
and Red Bull Ring in
and
Group
Red Bull
3.
Ring Group 3. So yeah, not the most fun week for us, but
interesting couple of races. I think that will definitely be one to pop in and watch. That'll be a good couple of races to watch you suffer, Paul, because we know
I was to
last Spa wasn't good.
The Group 3, you might as well count how many times I'm going to spin. Plus there's going to be a few.
Well, I'll get me pen and paper out.
I was going to say, you might as well note them down as it happens, because there's going to be a lot.
So we will have the Nations Cup on Tuesday as well. Do you know what they will be running around, Paul?
We're running around Le Mans again,
Oh, well, Le Mans.
coincidentally. So yeah, that'll be in Group 3 cars.
Group 3,
okay. Yeah.
So that is pretty much everything for that we've got coming up, I believe. Next week is, for F1, the final 2 races, so make sure you do tune in for those, because they should be a good couple of races. For those of you who have watched, whether it's throughout the whole of the stream, or if you've just been in for like the past 10 minutes, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, that does help us out a lot. And if you do want to see a bit more, there is a subscribe button and a notification bell for you to see when we go live. That has been me and Pagani for F1 with rounds 16 and 17. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. And it's not 16 and 17, it's 17 and 18.